Principle 8. Persistence. Most people do not lack dreams, and they do not lack intelligence. What they lack is the ability to stay until the end. Persistence is the invisible line that separates those who achieve what they want from those who live with regret. It is not the strongest who wins, but the one who lasts the longest. Life does not reward those who start fast. It pays those who refuse to quit. Persistence is not blind stubbornness. It is the ability to stay the course when emotions change, when results have not yet appeared, and when the world around you begins to doubt you. Many people start with high energy and strong determination, but after a few failures, they convince themselves that this path is not meant for them. In reality, this is exactly the path meant for them. They just have not gone far enough. Weak people quit when they meet resistance. Strong people understand that resistance is a necessary part of the journey. There is no road to real value that is smooth. If a goal does not require persistence, it is probably not big enough to change your life. Persistence is the price you pay for extraordinary results. One common mistake is believing that inspiration will sustain action. Inspiration comes and goes. Persistence is what keeps you moving. Successful people do not act because they always feel motivated. They act because they have committed to their goals, even on days when they feel nothing at all. Discipline is born from persistence, not from emotion. Persistence begins internally, in the way you talk to yourself when things do not go as planned. When results do not appear, do you tell yourself that you are failing or that you are laying the foundation? Those who quit see evidence of futility. Those who persist see signs of accumulation. They face the same situation, but reach completely different conclusions. No major success appears on the first attempt. Stories of overnight success are illusions created by skipping years of silent effort. Persistence works best when no one is applauding, no one is recognizing you, and there are no clear signs that you are on the right path. This is where most people quit, and this is exactly where opportunities begin to open for the few who remain. The real difference between successful people and unsuccessful ones is their ability to tolerate delayed results. Unsuccessful people need to see results immediately to continue. Successful people accept working for a long time without instant validation. They understand that results are the natural consequence of actions repeated long enough. Persistence is also the ability to stand back up after failure without letting your ego collapse. Failure does not define who you are. It only reflects that the current method is not working. Those who quit attach failure to their self-worth. Those who persist separate the two. They change strategies, not goals. An essential part of persistence is managing mental fatigue. Most of the time, you are not tired from work. You are tired from doubt. Doubt drains energy faster than effort. Persistent people learn to act even while their minds are questioning. They do not wait for doubt to disappear. They move forward with it. Many people confuse persistence with suffering. Persistence does not mean torturing yourself. It means understanding why you are doing this and that the goal matters enough to justify temporary discomfort. When the reason is strong enough, even a hard path becomes meaningful. Persistence is closely tied to belief in your own capacity. If you believe you do not deserve big results, you will stop before reaching them. Persistent people are not always confident, but they believe enough to continue. They allow themselves to learn while acting, to fail while progressing, and to grow through direct contact with reality. One critical truth is that persistence cannot exist without a clear goal. You cannot stay committed to something you do not truly want. When the goal is vague, persistence becomes fragile. When the goal is clear and powerful, persistence becomes automatic. You no longer force yourself to continue. You continue because there is no other option that aligns with who you want to become. Persistence is also the ability to work in silence. Weak people need constant recognition. Strong people work when no one is watching. They do not need to prove to the world that they are trying. They only need to prove to themselves that they did not quit today. Success does not come from loud words, but from small actions repeated daily. Many people fail right before success because they misjudge how close they are.
They believe the distance is still far, when in reality only one step remains. Persistence helps you cross this dangerous moment, the moment when exhaustion peaks but results have not yet appeared. This is where others turn away and you move forward. Persistence does not eliminate the fear of failure, it makes you familiar with it. When you have failed enough times and still continue, failure loses its power over you. You stop fearing it, and when fear disappears, your speed naturally increases. Persistent people understand that every time they refuse to quit, they are building a new identity, the identity of someone who finishes what they start. Once this identity forms, it spreads into every area of life. You don't just persist in business, you persist in relationships, in personal growth, and in maintaining your standards. Persistence is also the ability to say no to easy paths that do not lead to the final goal. Many temptations appear along the way, promising faster results with less pain. Those without persistence constantly change direction. Those with persistence understand that changing direction too early is the most subtle form of quitting. When you observe truly successful people, you will notice they are not obsessed with short-term results. They focus on becoming someone capable of producing long-term results. Persistence is the tool that builds that capability. No one is born persistent. It is forged each time you choose to continue when things become difficult. At this stage, persistence is no longer effort. It becomes a habit. You no longer ask whether you should continue. You only ask what the next step is. When you reach this point, you have already passed most of your competition because most of them stopped long ago. Sustainable wealth, real power, and personal freedom do not come from one single decision. They come from thousands of small decisions not to quit. Every day you persist, you add another brick to the foundation of your life. No one sees each brick, but one day they will see the structure. This is the core of persistence, not glamorous, not loud, but absolutely essential. When you master this principle, you no longer look for guarantees from the outside. You become someone who creates your own probability of success. And once you reach that level, very few things in life can stop you.
Mastering self-discipline and emotional control. Most people think failure comes from a lack of intelligence, luck, or opportunity. That's a lie they tell themselves to feel better. In reality, most people fail because they cannot control themselves. They cannot control their impulses, their emotions, their fears, and their short-term desires. Self-discipline is not a personality trait. It is a skill. And like any skill, it must be trained, reinforced, and protected. The marketplace does not reward potential. It rewards consistency. It does not care about your intentions, it only responds to your actions. Every major fortune in history was built by individuals who learned how to act correctly even when they didn't feel like it. They learned how to stay calm under pressure, stay focused under distraction, and stay committed when quitting felt easier. Emotional control is not about suppressing emotions, it's about not letting emotions make decisions for you. Fear, anger, excitement, impatience, and ego are the silent killers of progress. When emotions take the driver's seat, logic gets pushed into the trunk, and once logic is gone, mistakes become inevitable. Most people lose money not because they don't know what to do, but because they react emotionally. They panic when markets fall. They hesitate when opportunity appears. They overcommit when things go well. Emotional volatility leads to financial instability. If you cannot control your emotions, you cannot control your outcomes. Discipline is the bridge between knowledge and execution. You can read every book, watch every video, and attend every seminar, but without discipline, nothing changes. Discipline is waking up and doing the work even when motivation is gone. Motivation is temporary. Discipline is permanent. High-level performers understand one thing clearly. Feelings are unreliable. They don't wait to feel ready. They act first and feelings follow later. The discipline to act without emotional permission separates professionals from amateurs. Self-discipline also means learning to delay gratification. The average person wants comfort now and success later. The successful person accepts discomfort now to secure freedom later. Every meaningful achievement requires sacrifice in the present for a larger payoff in the future. If you cannot say no to short-term pleasure, you will always say yes to long-term regret. Emotional mastery also requires understanding your triggers. Everyone has them. Certain situations provoke fear, certain people provoke anger, certain outcomes provoke ego. If you are unaware of your triggers, they will control you. Awareness creates distance, distance creates choice, and choice creates power. Powerful people are not emotionless, they are emotionally intelligent. They feel deeply, but they act strategically. They do not react impulsively, they respond deliberately. This ability is developed through repetition, reflection, and restraint. Another critical aspect of self-discipline is routine. Structure creates stability. When your days are chaotic, your decisions become chaotic. When your habits are disciplined, your results become predictable. Routine eliminates unnecessary decisions, conserving mental energy for high-value actions. Discipline also means finishing what you start. Most people start strong and fade quickly. They chase novelty instead of mastery. Real growth happens when you push through boredom, resistance, and doubt. The ability to stay the course when progress feels slow is a rare advantage. Emotional control is especially critical during success. Failure humbles you, but success tests your character. Ego grows, caution fades, and overconfidence creeps in. Many people destroy themselves at the peak because they stop listening, stop learning, and stop respecting risk. True discipline keeps you grounded even when you're winning. Self-discipline is not punishment, it is self-respect. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, your confidence grows. Every time you break one, your self-trust erodes. Over time, this internal relationship determines how far you go. In the end, discipline is freedom. The disciplined mind is calm. The disciplined life is stable. And the disciplined individual is unstoppable. When you control yourself, nothing outside of you can control your destiny. Follow, subscribe, and share the channel to gain new knowledge and grow every day. Self-discipline. At this stage, discipline is no longer a skill you are trying to build. It becomes identity. A disciplined person does not need reminders to do the right thing. They operate from an internal standard so strong that any action below that standard is simply unacceptable. This is where discipline shifts from force to nature, from effort to default choice. The real difference between those who move forward and those who stay stuck is not knowledge, it is the ability to maintain standards when there is no external pressure. When no one is watching, no one is evaluating, no one is rewarding, you still perform as if the result is non-negotiable. Wealthy people do not wait to be pushed. They apply pressure to themselves because they understand one truth clearly. Discipline today creates freedom tomorrow. At this level, an uncomfortable but critical truth becomes clear. Most people do not fail because they lack opportunity. They fail because they lack the discipline to exploit opportunity consistently over a long enough period of time. Opportunity rarely looks exciting. It usually shows up as boring work, repetitive habits, and invisible effort. The undisciplined chase feelings. The disciplined build outcomes. At its deepest level, self-discipline is the ability to manage energy, not just time. You cannot perform at a high level with a broken body, a scattered mind, and uncontrolled emotions. Disciplined individuals understand that sleep, nutrition, movement, and environment are not secondary concerns, they are foundations. When the foundation is weak, every plan collapses sooner or later. Another critical layer of discipline is mental discipline. Not every thought deserves belief. Undisciplined people let emotions lead. Disciplined people choose their thoughts carefully. They do not allow fear, procrastination, or self-pity to control their actions. They observe thoughts the way they observe weather. Storms may appear, but they do not let rain dictate direction.
As discipline strengthens, decision-making changes. You stop asking what you feel like doing and start asking what must be done. You stop judging actions by short-term comfort and start judging them by long-term consequences. Wealthy people think in outcomes. Poor people think in emotions. This difference repeats daily and compounds into a gap that cannot be closed. Discipline also shows up in the ability to say no. No to opportunities that look attractive but pull you off course. No to relationships that drain energy. No to habits that provide short-term pleasure but destroy long-term potential. Undisciplined people fear missing out. Disciplined people fear losing their standards. At maturity, discipline no longer requires external harshness. It becomes self-respect. You work seriously not because someone demands it, but because you refuse to accept a weak version of yourself. You keep promises to yourself because you understand that every broken commitment erodes internal trust, one of the most valuable invisible assets you possess. Highly disciplined individuals act before emotion has time to interfere. They design systems to reduce decision-making under fatigue. Habits, schedules, and personal rules exist not to restrict freedom, but to protect energy for decisions that truly matter. When the system is strong, willpower no longer needs to fight daily battles. Self-discipline also reveals itself in how you respond to failure. Undisciplined people use failure as an excuse to quit. Disciplined people use failure as data. They do not drown in negative emotion. They analyze, adjust, and return to execution as quickly as possible. Slowing down is acceptable. Stopping is not. With enough perspective, it becomes clear that discipline creates consistency, and consistency creates wealth. There is no breakthrough that replaces thousands of quiet days doing the right thing. Those who chase fast results ignore this principle. Those who build lasting wealth place discipline above emotion. At this point, external motivation is unnecessary. Motivation comes and goes. Discipline stays. You no longer need encouragement because you know who you are and what you refuse to do. Discipline becomes a barrier protecting you from your own most subtle temptations. Finally, understand this clearly. Self-discipline is not endless sacrifice. It is an intelligent exchange. You give up short-term comfort in return for long-term control. You reject instinct-driven living to build a life by design. Over time, the reward is not only money, but freedom of thought, action, and choice. This is the conclusion of this principle, but not the end of the journey. Discipline is not something you achieve once and keep forever. It is something you choose daily. And every day you honor that choice, you lay another brick in a form of wealth that no one can ever take from you.
Follow, subscribe, and share the channel to gain new knowledge and grow every day.